Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Shadow Sunflower Blossom build in Elden Ring. This is such a cool weapon because we're using literally the head of a boss that we fought to deal a ton of damage with, and it's got this really cool weapon art that does a ton of damage. So I'll be going over the full build guide on this video and talking about what ways we want to maximize our damage with this. So that is the weapon art there. It's super cool because you just slam it down and it deals a ton of holy damage there, so the Albanarks are getting wrecked by it. But I'll be going over the full leveling guide at level 150, and if you're at a higher level, which you probably are at this point in the game, I'll talk about what stats to put in next. So with this build, we're going to be running with 50 vigor and then 20 mind, 40 endurance, as we're able to add in another weapon that scales off the same stats. So going with the Devonia's hammer, these are both two colossal weapons that we compare together. You don't have to go this route, but I'll talk about if we're going with two of them or just a solo weapon. But we got 13 dexterity to be able to equip that hammer there. 50 strength is we're going to maximize the amount of damage that we're getting from both of these weapons. They both also deal holy damage, which scales off of our faith stat, which we have at 30. It does require 25 to use this weapon, but it does scale off strength pretty well as well. So we want to have armor that allows us to have at least 56 poise, 51 at the very minimum, but also have a medium roll, as we're going to want to be able to dodge roll with this. So for the talisman, there's two different ways we can go about this. So I like the two-headed turtle talisman since these take up a lot of stamina. Getting that recovery back is huge. I also like to go with the Great Jar Arsenal since we can't equip both hammers without it. But if you're not using both hammers, you can go with like the Shard of Alexander if we're just going to use the single, sunflower head there. But the two-handed sword talisman is if we're going to be using it two-handed here. So this is going to increase the damage that we're dealing. However, we'd like to start off with something like our Flame Grammy Strength. It's also nice to have Rotten Breath there, just for any bosses that are resistant to it, or not resistant to it. We can also use the White Mask and Lord of Blood's Exaltations and start off with Swarm of Flies there. But the way that we want to go about this is just going in and bonking with this hammer. So when we use the two-handed variant there, it deals an increased 15% damage, so that's quite high. And you can see there, the stagger on this weapon is insane. It hits enemies that are not even in the area, it'll stagger them because that's the nice effect of colossal weapons. However, I'll show you another way that we can go about this with both the hammers. If you go that route, take off the two-handed talisman and instead use the claw talisman. So then we can use both of the weapons here and get a big increase to our damage with jump attacks. You'll pretty much one-shot everything, and for bosses, it only takes a few jump attacks to be able to take out most bosses. So that's the nice thing about colossal weapons, is they have such high damage that even if you miss a couple shots, it kind of sucks, but you're going to take them out eventually. So I'll show you again what this looks like with the dual hammer setup. I think that dual colossal hammers is just the way to go. Your damage potential is going to be so much higher with two weapons, and especially ones that pair off the same stats, such as these, and also deal holy damage. Like a single hammer attack is going to take out most enemies there, and you can see that even just swinging the two of them with the L1, the stagger that comes with it can basically allow you to stun lock enemies. So that is one of the beautiful parts about that, is the damage is just so high. We typically just want to start with these jump attacks, however, but I'll show you the build. If we're not using the hammer as well, we can take off the Great Jar's Arsenal, as we'll still have that medium roll. And what we can go with is instead go with the Shard of Alexander. So this is going to boost up the damage of our sunflower attack there. So whenever we use this, it's going to have a huge boost to our damage, which we're already pretty much one-shotting everything. Shadow Sunflower Headbutt is the name of that skill, and it's really effective. It's the same attack that he uses against us when we fight him. Even if you don't hit them with the impact, it still has a pretty good area of effect, but I'll just go back to the Grace, refresh the enemies, and show you what this does against them if we go just the single hammer build. I just want to go with both of these just because some people prefer to go with two colossal weapons, so I figured I'd do a build showing off both of those instead of just covering the one. But the talisman were provided there. So this weapon here, I missed there, but we turn it around nicely, and you just keep pressing L2 to continue to attack with that. So just like that, it's one shot, and we're going to get taken out. Oh, we survived. But we're able to one-shot those Albanarks that are red, so that is a pretty good sign. This also doesn't use a whole lot of FP, surprisingly, for what it does. Like, it's fairly minimal usage. I did go with just 20 mind, but as you level up higher, you can put your mind stat up higher. 2,500 damage on those attacks is pretty freaking good. So this weapon is very strong. The Shadow Sunflower Head, and got that headbutt attack, but the Shadow Sunflower Blossom, I should say, very effective on strength and faith builds, and it's a whole lot of fun to use. So there's a build guide for it in Elden Ring. If you found this video useful, please hit that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.